Hi, welcome to the Discover Your Life Today YouTube channel. My name is Maveen Kaura. I am from discoveryourlifetoday.com. Today we'll be talking about, can science and technology overcome these 5 problems? Science and technology, you can actually read about the article that I wrote on discoveryourlifetoday.com/science and technology. So the reason this kind of came up is because, a few months back, a buddy of mine asked me, if science could help you live longer, would I want to? So at first, I started thinking and I started imagining, how cool would it be to get to 100? And I say even a simple 100 years old because on average, most people do not live to that age. And then I started thinking, well, what if I can get to 200 and 500? How cool would that be? Or even older than that, right? It would be interesting because I would be able to witness my family tree grow. I'd be able to travel, potentially even travel outside of this, universe right now, because of all the different things that technology that's happening in the technology industry, especially when you look at science and NASA and SpaceX and all these other different companies out there that are doing stuff for space exploration. How cool would it be that to potentially be able to fly out into different parts of the universe and just see what's happening? Have the ability to see what AI, what's happening with AI and what we're doing as humanity to advance humanity. Sit in a flying car, kind of like the Jetsons idea, watch the world be cured of all the cancers, and just, do the things that I really wanted to do all my life, but be able to do it over a longer period of time. How cool would that be? So I just started really brainstorming and really dreaming about these things, and it really made me see that it could be a possibility. But then I started thinking about science and technology and some of the things that is happening there, and I started thinking about that as well. And so the problems that could create. Would I want to live forever? I guess that would be the main question. That my goal here is to help you wonder and ask that question of yourself. As I started thinking about this question for myself, I started to wonder, what are some of the problems that could arise in having this many people living forever? What if the world's population doubled? So right now, as of recording this, the world's population is at about 7.5 billion plus. And what if that doubled to 15 billion people? What about 20 billion or more? What would happen to the world's population? What would happen to the earth? Even at right now, with how many people we have on the planet right now, the distribution of food is not really being given to everybody. The food is mostly in the first world countries. The third world countries don't get the food and the distribution of the food as well as we do here. So if we have 15 to 20 million or billion people on this planet, how much more would that affect the people and the people living, right? Then I started also thinking, would people actually live forever, or would countless people really just start dying from hunger and waiting for this magical cure of a longer life? So one of the things I also started thinking was that, is it right for society to do this? Should we trust the advancements that are coming from science and technology as well? So I just started really playing ping pong with both sides of the equation and seeing, what would really happen? Does it make sense? Is this something that we should consider to live forever or not? Currently the way things are happening, so many people are aging, and there's so many unknowns with the science and technology as well, because a lot of times, we don't have anybody living to these ages of 300-400 years old that we can actually go back and take a look at and decide, is this really the way we want our society to live? Can this person be strong and really get discover that fountain of youth for themselves and live forever? I think what science and technology is doing is probably decent because, if you look at it from a business standpoint, millions of people around the world are spending billions and billions of dollars a year to look younger and feel younger. And many people want to be ageless. So I think that's definitely a part of this science technology question that I'm going to kind of go over here in a few seconds. So I just really want you to consider this. Science and technology does have its place in society. I truly do believe that. There's no doubt about it. But we have to wonder, when is too much, and when will we say no to the advancements that science and technology make, or will we allow science and technology to become the new God? So one of the things I want to really think about and have you guys think about is the diet. At some point in your life, you've probably considered going on a diet or been on a diet, have done some clean eating. Maybe you're a vegetarian or a vegan, or maybe you're just a meat eater. It doesn't matter. But you've probably decided at some point in your life that I want to get in shape, maybe lose a little bit of weight, or maybe gain a little bit of weight. Not to mention that you not only change your diet, but you also consider maybe going to the gym and walking, and maybe taking up some sports to do with your friends, maybe some team sports that you can join, like hockey or soccer or whatnot, right? So I know I certainly have. My wife and I recently headed to a beach vacation as of this recording. One of the things I want to do is be able to take my shirt off and kind of, look good walking on the beach, because who doesn't want to feel good and look good, right? And that's what I said earlier. People spend billions of dollars to get that two feelings. So what I decided to do was clean up my diet in hopes that, by the time I get to the beach, I could get some of the desired results I wanted for that beach. When I first prepared for it, I had to clean up my diet, and one of the things was cutting out the sugar and the flours and the fruit and the rice, and I stuck to mostly like eating beans and vegetables and meats, like lean meats like fish and chicken and turkey, a very limited amount of beef and pork, because it's typically a little bit fattier, right? But the main thing was, can science and technology, or will science and technology alter our food so we can start losing weight and getting in shape versus actually having to go out to the gym or go for a walk? And the foods we eat just start burning calories and start making us look the way we want to look, and start looking and making us look the way we feel. So the question I ask you is eating a well-balanced diet necessary if science and technology can help us live a healthier life? So, if science and technology says, we can help you live forever, do we really need to worry about eating healthy and clogged arteries and not, going for walks and going to the gym and building muscle and all that thing? What should we do? Should we just be out there eating what we want, eating all the fried foods and getting fat, because we understand that, even as an unhealthy person, we can still be as healthy as we want to be through science and technology? The second question that I thought about was aging. So, according to Wikipedia, and this is a little while back, so the oldest person on record was 122 years old, 164 days as well. And an interesting thing was, when I was looking at this, now the stats may change a little bit, but 18 out of 20 people at the time were women. So, I started thinking, what role does sex play in how old we are? And I think it's a pretty common stat as well, that women do outlive men, absolutely. And you can start seeing this when we start getting into numbers like this, where 18 out of 20 of the oldest people on record were women. So it starts really making me wonder, as a male, if you're listening to this, can you really outlive the women at all? So the other thing I started thinking was, if you're a man, you're reading this, I hope you are saying that you got to start taking some advice from women as well. Another thing that I started wondering was, there are some stories in the Bible and other religious texts as well that talk about people in these books living to the ages of 500 and 900 years old. And we have to really start wondering is, if we are to believe that this could have been true, is that possible? Can science and technology help us live to these ages just like people in these stories and religious texts did years and years and years ago? So those are 2 points I want you to consider prior to my next 5 points. So these are just things that will start happening to you and your body. You're aging, and you will be thinking about food, because these are 2 things that you'll need to do. But as this is happening to you, these are the 5 points I want you to consider: money, work, pharmaceuticals, loss of enlightenment, and of course the best of the best. And I'm going to go through each one of those 5 points in a little bit more detail. So money, just look around you and you'll see that more people are struggling into their old age. You can see articles, you can start reading stories about people who are getting into retirement age and don't have enough money to continue forward. Financially, people are struggling, and it's statistically proven that most people by the age of 65 will be dead, broke, or in financial problems by that age. So far less people today are making money and living a comfortable life as they used to potentially, let's say, 20, 30 years ago even, right? So if science and technology can increase your longevity, what will you do for money if you do live to the age of 200, 300, 400? Will we just really become slaves to the banking system, the government system, the work system? Something we need to consider. How will you be able to afford the food to eat? Or will we be eating some sort of genetically modified foods that are super, super cheap? And consider the fact that, we could potentially balloon our population between 15 and 20 billion people on Earth. How will we be eating? Will money be the ruler of people and science and technology lead the wave of ruling people? Just something I want you to consider, because I don't think science and technology can really help us understand that if we do live longer. The next one was work. To answer this question, you have to think about what you're already doing for work right now. Most people already work 40 to 60 hours a week, 5 to 7 days a week as well, just to earn enough money to live a somewhat comfortable life and definitely provide food for their friends, for their families and whatnot, right? As you're reading this, you may be thinking to yourself, I do not want to work for another 40 hours a week for the next 40 years, let alone do I want to work 40 hours a week well past retirement age and into the, my hundreds, 200s, and 300s and continue to working. So, something to think about. You might be super excited about retirement and you don't really want to have to work that kind of hours. I don't think we were put on this earth to work, 40 hours a week under somebody else. I think we were here really to figure out what we are, what we can do, and how we can ascend who we are as human beings. One of the things that I started thinking about was, will AI take away the work that I can do today? And I do believe that artificial intelligence is out there. It is starting to take away many of the jobs out there through robotics and whatnot. And you can still see that these are happening. So if AI comes in and it takes away, let's say, majority of the jobs that are out there, are you and I still on the hook for paying all our bills and taxes and our more outstanding mortgages? Because most people have definitely spent more money than they can afford, so they are the slaves to the banking system. So if we're out there not able to work, are we still going to be slaves to the banking system or some other government system that, we still have to pay back our money? So do we have to then go work for free for somebody else to kind of pay off our debts to society based on what we own? So you have to really think, are we kind of going back into this slavery type society that, that a lot of people have experienced over a long time? So it kind of makes me wonder, do you really want to live a long life, and is it worth living a long life if you become a slave to what science and technology can do if you increase your age? Number 3, it's the pharmaceutical industry. Ever wonder where your money goes after you get paid? Outside of paying for student debt, mortgages, car payments, children's education, food, gas, vacations, your countless credit cards, the last thing that we are being sold is pharmaceuticals. And science and technology understand that, right? Because again, most of us are being sold the cure to a sickness, to an ailment, to looking younger, feeling younger, and whatnot, right? So the pharmaceutical industry understands that, and this is why the health and beauty industries are billion-dollar industries, because people understand that there's a lot of money still to be taken out of your pocket even after taxes. So that's why these companies, these big pharma here, is looking for your dollar, right? And they understand that you need to purchase medicine if you want to feel better. So what they also do is give you the foods that don't allow you to feel better. So like the junk food, like those burgers and whatnot, and saying, hey, you know what, you don't have to worry about exercise. We'll give you this magic magic pill in pharmaceutical form, and you just take this and you'll lose weight and you'll feel good, it'll clean out your arteries and whatnot. And you know, some of that, sure, might be good, but is there not something about taking care of yourself and being responsible for yourself as well that needs to be there? You know, you can pay the full price as people do in retirement, or you can be subsidizing the price, right? So what happens is a lot of times people are, you know, if you work for a company, let's say you're my age, you work for a company, most times the companies will subsidize what you have to pay, right? So right now, you know, they might cover 80% or 90% or even 100% of whatever that pharmaceutical costs. So for a lot of people, it's senseless not to take advantage of the pharmaceuticals because we need it. So we get very dependent on it. And as we hit towards retirement age, many times people don't have the same jobs that they used to, and they have to still now depend on these medicines, and now they have to start paying full price, you know, for these medicines, and they usually cannot. So what happens is too many people die at a young age because statistically, like we said, people don't have money mostly after the age of 65 to continue to pay for certain things because there's not as much income coming in as income going out. So no matter how you look at it, we will always need money, which means if you have to work and you'll have to continue to put in the hours so you can get that cure, right? But if that cure is not available to you because you can't afford it, this is probably why AI is being developed so they can replace you and I, because they understand we get sick. Robots just need to get fixed if something happens, maybe oil them, you know, fix a part, replace a part, whatnot, unless they make us into an artificial intelligence, which is something will be interesting to see. So number 4 was loss of enlightenment. So something I started thinking about is, you know, a lot of cultures believe in enlightenment and being enlightened and finding that enlightenment within us and around us. So let's consider the implications science and technology can have on that as well. There's billions of people around the world who believe they have been reincarnated before and will be continually being reincarnated for generations to come. So if science and technology can help you live forever, this is something I want you to consider. They believe that their karma has not been fulfilled, so this is why they're reborn. So they can gain enlightenment year after year or lifetime after lifetime. And let's consider the idea, if science and technology could increase your age and you live forever, one, I guess you would have the ability to eventually find enlightenment throughout your life, but that may take you 4,000 or 5,000 years. Or you can live and keep coming back in generations and populating the earth and keep learning and how to be enlightened in this particular lifetime naturally. And I think that's kind of the idea. You know, I think people would lose the ability to believe in rebirth and karma and lose the experience that life and death has and the many different countless cycles of life and death. I think, you know, it's awesome to experience life, and for a lot of people it's an interesting thing. Sometimes it's a celebration to also experience the death of somebody because, you know, you're not, you know, people are here 1 minute and gone another. So you want to be able to, I believe, celebrate that as well. And if science and technology help us live forever, we're going to start losing some of those natural things that have been happening for millions of years, you know, with animals and human beings, no matter what your belief is on that. And number 5, one of the things I believe was the best of the best would be lost. So go back in history and you'll see that every generation has witnessed some sort of the best of the best. So either it be in sports, literature, government, comedy, music, acting, even science and technology. You know, if it wasn't for these people, books would not be written and we would not be able to read amazing stories of innovation about these people and what they were able to accomplish in their lifetime. Again, life to death. If humans were to live forever, would we need to give birth to the next generation of babies? Would we have family trees, or would they cease to exist? So something to consider. Would we really need to have any more people? Would everybody eventually be in their hundreds, 200s, 300s, and no one will really ever be a teenager ever again? we would lose the best of the best. Let's consider the food we eat. Today, much of the world can enjoy some of the best foods that we have, but we could potentially lose that because GMOs are coming in, and some of that good food is now just being genetically modified, so we can get some of the vitamins and minerals, and they can keep giving that food to us. So what I really want you to consider is, with science and technology, you are going to start losing the best of the best in every industry, in all sorts of food, even, animals. Some of the best animals out there that are still being born may not be born or found, and some of those species could be lost to us, so we'll never understand who they were, because much of the world's ground is going to have to be used and able to populate all these people that are coming here. We're going to have to grow our food in certain places, so we may need to cut down more forests or whatnot, so we can start finding ways to grow more food and animals for people, as people want to continue to live a longer, stronger life. So I just really want you to consider these 5 points on what science and technology is doing out there, and things that they may not be talking about in society about with science and technology. And these are the 5 problems that I truly see coming about. Thank you for joining me on the Discover Your Life Today YouTube channel. My name is Maveen Kaura. Please leave a message below. Let me know what you think in the comment section about these 5 points or other 5 things that science and technology may not be considering. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed this video, definitely subscribe to it. Go check out discoveryourlifetoday.com. You can also subscribe over there for any new articles that keep coming out on the blog. Other than that, hope you have yourself a great day, and share this video with somebody.